On April 9, 1985, in his first game as a New York Met, Gary Carter instantly validated the 4-for-1 trade that had brought him to Queens.
Opening day, game-winning home run. We all thought, well, he was brought over as a savior. Already he is.
They were standing in the stands, cheering, yelling, Gary, and I never felt that in Montreal, and I just felt like, hey, I've arrived, I'm here, it's in New York.
Inarguably the best catcher and arguably the best player in baseball in the early 1980s, Carter would have in New York a much bigger stage than he'd had in his decade with the Expos in Montreal. Not since Reggie Jackson had there been such a perfect marriage of city and player, ego and ability. But if Jackson was often prickly, Carter was the picture of enthusiasm.
Playing against him, you hated to see it. You just didn't like him. Gary was always energetic, he's always happy about everything, and you'll say to yourself, no one could be that happy all the time.
And that's why we call him the kid. We call him the kid because, he had fun playing the game, he loved the game. Every time there was a camera, you saw him smiling.
Carter's second season in New York, 1986, would be the year of the Mets. But in the World Series, they found themselves trailing 5-3 in the 10th inning of Game 6. Boston was just 1 out away from its first World Series championship in 68 years.
I guarantee you there was a lot of people that were heading to those turnstiles. And I just came to the plate with a great deal of confidence.
In a seemingly hopeless situation, Carter kept hope alive, sparking the most improbable of comebacks.
It's probably one of the greatest comebacks, probably if not the greatest comeback in World Series history. It just kind of puts a punctuation mark on Gary's tenacity.
2 nights after Carter initiated that immortal comeback, the Mets were champions. Carter was the king of the world. A victim of his own reluctance to take days off, Carter was already wearing down. He was 32 in 1986, but only played 2 more full seasons. He retired after the 1992 season, which he spent back in Montreal with the Expos.
There is a given time where you have to realize, as God's perfect timing, when to say goodbye. And, I will never say goodbye to baseball.
Inexplicably and sadly, Carter, an 11-time All-Star, was forced to wait 6 years after becoming eligible to be elected to the Hall of Fame. He was finally enshrined in 2003.
It is nice to know that even though my body feels like an old man now, I will always be a kid at heart.
Carter betrayed no bitterness. He went into Cooperstown as he'd played and as he'd lived, smiling, eager, enthusiastic, the eternal kid.